Lovely.
Hello and welcome once again to the Initiative Order and to Chalice Twilight Roads. Well, it's been a good old week between our last game and today, and I'm sure that everyone is in a fantastic mental state and we don't have anything to worry about whatsoever. Which is why we have one less person on screen than normal.
Hi guys, what happened?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
You'll find out in a bit, it's fine.
It's fine. We went on a nice cruise.
He couldn't make it for this week.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, unlike the last time someone, briefly died, you'll notice that, well, they stayed for a little bit because they're still here. Weird. So these
Weird
guys to work out. Unfortunately, as much as we're going to miss him, Alistair is dead. And James is no longer with us.
Ding dong, the witch is dead.
James himself is still alive, to clarify.
No, he is not.
The witch is dead.
There's like five different,
I have seen to that. I have seen to that. James is no longer with us.
I was going to say, he was alive at the end of the last stream. Like, Alistair was,
2 weeks
James
ago.
was.
I have seen
Yeah,
to that.
I haven't heard
He's dead.
anything
You went
from
fast.
James
You went
since
fast.
like 2 weeks ago.
I'm
so.
good at what I do.
He has been weirdly missing from work. Regardless of James, because it's happened now, unfortunately. Let's have a quick run over our sponsors before we jump in and see who everyone is and where everyone is. I'm going to glare derisively in Jago's direction and ask him, have you got any dice yet, Jago?
Oh,
I mean,
Jago.
I've always got dice.
Do you have the dice, though, Jago?
Nothing has arrived yet.
Have you?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't want to be like Jago, an immense disappointment to dice sellers everywhere, you can head on over to Norse Foundry, where you can buy your very own artisan dice. You can even use the wonderful discount code they've provided us of TIO15 at the checkout, 15% off, clues in the name. If you like those but want more, you can also head over to Mithril Armory, where they make a huge variety of really, really cool, quirky little dice, including ones made of tin and ones you can doodle on, which you can use the code INITIATIVE for 10% off their web store. Or if you're looking for something, a little bit more homegrown within the Initiative Order, mainly from the Initiative Order's very own Taryn, you can use go over to Umbral Oculus Dice and use the code INITIATIVE for 10% off of all the dice in her store. But if you don't want dice, because you're weird, you could also buy things to put on your body, like clothes and hats and pins and other weird things. And you can do that over at Session Zero Clothing, with loads and loads of kind of TTRPG clothing, loads of D&D stuff, and you can use the code ORDER at checkout there for 15% off. So go out, spend your money, don't be like Jago, stimulate the economy, and do wonderful things for everyone.
Because God knows we fucking need it.
Thanks.
I got too real too quickly.
Yeah, we try not to be a political show.
Moving swiftly on.
So, on that vein, in the realms of disappointment and bad things, Jago, who are you?
Oh.
You can just hear his heart break every week.
I only say it because I know he can take it. I worry what happens if I start to direct at other people.
Yeah.
Untested waters at this point.
One of us just rage quits.
Yeah.
I believe you said that, Ben.
It's like me, because I'm from up north and I'm just stupid. So keep it at Jago, because I'll just
Hobbit
Fury. You don't want it.
Hello, I'm Jago. I'm playing Jack Hooper. I am very quickly losing my title as the resident dice goblin. Oh boy.
You're not wrong. And in the realms of people who, can't hold on to anything and whose career is going nowhere, Billy.
God.
No, too far. Hello, everyone. I am Billy. I have no career ahead of me, and instead I'll be trapped in this box forever at the whims of our torturing DM. Help me.
That was fucking potent.
Billy, think twice.
On the round. Speaking of DMs, we're going to then move on to someone who got a rather interesting DM involving something large and purple. Lynn.
What?
We all know.
Selfie of Thanos?
Talk about the giant dice picture you were sent earlier. By,
Jesus.
Oh, the giant, yes. It was gorgeous. Hi, I'm Lynn. I have an obsession with gorgeous large purple dice. I play Cecily. And at a loss for words, apparently.
This is peak Ben right here. I'm loving it. Finally, it's so nice to see it from the other side.
What a way to start a stream.
I have never been so
Just
terrified in
insult
my life.
every player. And
Yeah.
then...
You know a fraction of my pain.
And on the realms of people whose pain mean nothing to me, Holly.
That wasn't too bad. I forget.
Well, I have to value you as a person to really insult you.
Well, I'm about to say I don't even value myself, so it's fine. Hi, I'm Holly. I play Edlynnne Castron. She isn't dead, but I'm dead on the inside, so really that's just balancing it out, right? And yeah, there's nothing else I can say. Please send energy drinks so I can get some energy in my life again.
And finally, things that are dead on the inside, but we really wish were just dead. Max.
Hi, I'm Max. I'm playing Jules Hope, hoping to spread love.
Oh,
The exact antithesis to Ben.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
While I do my best to hold in the bile and throw up on our intro sequence rather than right now, I'm Ben. I'm the harbinger of all the hellish bullshit that gets thrown at these poor people. And
nice.
And once more, before we dive back in to see how long they can last this time, we've got a wonderful intro to play. So please, fire away.
We're going to
Need luck.
Hello and welcome back. Thank you once again for bearing with us and enjoying our wonderfully put together and wonderfully audioed. It's the wrong word, but I've used up all my creativity on hating these people. Welcome back.
So offended.
Good.
I never said it was bad music.
No, okay.
Very good music.
Okay, thank you. That's my one compliment I'm getting from Ben from the year, so I'm happy.
For the
I
rest
was
of your
very
life.
surprised that it was listenable.
So was I, honestly. So, you know.
Oh, that was some backhanded shit. That's good.
Well, to move on from being a horrible person in real life, let's move on to being a horrible person in a game. So, we of course return to our characters, our various players, on a small river skiff, making the way from a large prison vessel back towards Southhurt. Now, I am going to, as always, offer up a tasty void point for whomever can give me an exact rundown of what happened last week in 2 minutes or less. I mean, I'll be honest, if Max can do it, I'll give him 2 void points.
Look at that face. He wants to go.
Do you want to go
I
for it?
watched the stream.
But I'm trying to remember the names of the people that were was with. Was it Kurt and what was the 2 boys?
All I remember is Kurt.
Max and Eli.
Yeah.
You better remember one of them.
Yeah, I know, and I can't remember which one I planned to go on a date with.
Oh no! Just rescued you from
I've got John and Gary as the horses, and that's important stuff.
You remember
So-
the horses better.
So Max is the one I was meant to be going on a date with.
I think I've got it.
Okay.
Kurt, Dusky Ducks, Harrison, Paprika, no, Masala.
That's
No,
the
that's the
Spice
Spice
Girls.
Girls.
Still very important.
To anyone that hasn't seen any previous episodes, this is just like what?
I'm gonna have to pass because I think I could do all of it, but I don't think I can get the names.
Well, who would like to take it on them?
I was dead for half a session, so I'm good.
You died?
You were still watching.
I know, but still.
Not recapping that.
You were there.
Okay, I'm gonna have you recap.
Okay. I'll take it on. Fuck it,
Go
I'm
on.
good to go.
Go on.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
great.
got the
man.
prize, shit.
You ready?
Yeah.
Steady?
Go. Yeah.
Went about 20 seconds ago, but yeah.
You dick. Okay, so Kurt and mystery person who only one of us has met, Subil, breaks us out, and we're sort of going, what the hell's going on? They're like, right, let's go. A couple of us are apprehensions. We want to get Sam back, but because we're terrible people, we'll get him later. Don't worry about it.
Mhm.
So we try and sneak our way out. One way, it gets complicated. People are coming through. We make our way back down to the engine room, spot an Inquisition robe. I take that. Then we have the ingenious idea of shutting down the engine, so when we do escape, it can't chase us, effectively. So myself and Kurt, dressed in inquisitorial robes, sort of shove everybody out of the engine room, whilst our engineers, Cecily and Alistair, fuck with the engine, basically just turn it off. After getting up there, the acolytes are quite understandably a bit confused why we're all up there. They point at me, and everybody promptly fucks off, leaving me to go, prisoners escaped? And they're like, yeah, they fucking did. So a fight breaks out. At this point, Eddie wakes up on a table. Oh, you dick. She fucks off out the room. We all get off the boat, and we're happy. The end. Bye.
I mean, that's not void point worthy at this point.
Yeah, that was shit you missed, man.
I lied. You
20
still got 30 seconds.
Oh,
30
you
seconds,
get hot.
Go,
Now
go.
you-
Go.
Okay.
Go.
What happened to Alistair?
Stop saying Alistair's dead. He got.
Yeah, but
he
how?
did a fucking.
Yeah, but
he did a
how?
fuck-
What happened?
Shut up! He did a fucking. Oh my god. He jumped into the sea with oh fuck, the barbed wire boy, ripped the shit out of him, Traeger, thank you, and then got hung by barbed wire as a final fuck you, but on Traeger's part. I didn't get shit.
You were too slow, and you left out Kurt.
What
Yeah,
happened
my
to Kurt?
boy. You can't leave out
Kurt
your
went
boy.
toe to toe with Traeger to buy us
He
some time.
did, yeah.
I did the best fucking roles of my life while playing as Kurt, okay? Like, I'm not even fucking kidding.
Swear to God.
Well, what about the person that I was supposed to go on a date with?
They came to
dead?
pick us up in a boat.
Is he dead?
No.
No.
No, he's on the boat with us.
So I can still have my date.
You-
Yes.
That's
I
all.
feel like we
matters.
got bigger priorities.
That's all that
Also,
matters.
No,
No, why not to Jules?
Jules
Love
worrying
is the
about
biggest
the date
priority for Jules.
is actually very on brand for her.
You're all just bit players in Jules' rom-com.
Turns out Jules
Real
is the main
extras.
character, and we're just helping her get
oh my
get
God.
really.
It's called
You think
feelings.
I'm helping you? You're helping me.
Yeah, we
To get
figured
a
this
date.
out. Yeah, we figured this out when you weren't here last week, and we didn't know what to do.
I'm going to give you 1 minute if someone can give me a really, really good title for Jules' rom-com. I will still give Jago the voice.
The Jules of the night.
Feelings.
It's
He gets it. He gets it. This is a very inside joke.
Jules of
Look
the
at it,
Crown
he's
or
laughing.
something, or how jewels are made.
How Jules sparkle.
How Jules are made isn't bad.
That's pretty good.
Not bad.
The jewel in the rough.
Yes, a jewel in the rough.
The diamond. There's a
The
diamond.
Last
is a jewel.
Hope. No, Star Wars not off. Okay.
No.
The jewel and the thief. I think
I've
the
already-
guy is a bad guy. I don't
Look,
know who.
he laughed at feelings because he gets the joke. So therefore, I've won. I don't even care if I don't get the void points before. I win.
That's a minute.
I got him to
Feelings
chuck.
good.
Oh man, I
Jules
even went
in
onto
the
the
rough
Mills and
sounds
Boom
like a
website to
porno.
see if I could get some
Jules in
inspiration.
the
But
rough.
all the
Does sound
titles
like a
are
porno, yeah.
It does, but hey, it's still romantic, so it's
Yeah.
still a rom-com.
It's not funny, but it's definitely a rom.
You got half of it.
Yeah,
Go on, Jago.
that's half a void point.
I had the first void point in fucking weeks.
It's a bit of a pity point,
Even.
but don't
It is.
we don't question those. We need all the points we did that.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Did
I
we
am-
get any of our stuff back last week?
No.
No.
No, we just ran.
Okay.
Jules,
0.
basically, I dragged you over the side of the boat because I was too scared to jump by myself.
That's
That was
fair.
funny.
I'd do the same.
In fairness, out of every one of you, Jules is the only person that still has any of their original gear because you've still got your knuckle duster.
Yeah, my knuckle
Yeah.
dusters.
I've still got my boots.
Yeah.
Still got your boots, yeah.
Still got my boots.
I have an
Edlynnne
inquisitorial
is
robe.
just a shell, just an iron shell of her former self. That was so bad. I'm just gonna let myself leave.
Please do.
Okay.
It's quite
Okay, cool.
sad.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Right. Well, at that point,
Oh boy.
let's dive back in.
I get it because it's water around us.
We're in the
Sorry,
sea.
Well
Very
done.
clever.
Let's just say
You know, it doesn't.
I'm not even going to give
It's
myself that.
it's not even
Um,
funny when Jago
Can I
has
have
to
that?
explain it.
Those are my best jokes, the ones I need to explain. Right. We come back to find the small group of you huddled on board a rapidly moving river skiff. The ship itself is quite narrow, meaning that you're having to kind of stay together, huddled as best as you can against the rapidly moving sea, kind of winds picking up from the internal sea. Salt is still splashing just over, and you can still smell that on the air. In the far distance behind you, you're aware of the sounds of the ship you've just left. Distant, but still there. It's been about 10 minutes or so since you got off and started to disappear off into the night, and you're fairly certain you start to hear the sounds of a distant steam engine starting to kick back to life. In front of you, a short distance at this point, you can see the lights of Southside. The docks laid off on the south and, of course, the northern edge of the town. Behind you, the cabin leads to a very, very narrow, very, very small underdeck. You know what I mean? Where you can see just behind you, Max is stood on the wheel, keeping you going in a straight direction. There is no light on your vessel. The small lanterns that are kind of tied to the sides have all been dimmed, so the only illumination you have to go off of is the moon itself. The further and further you get from the ship, I need Edlynnne and Jack to make me we're going to say, Will Academia test with a focus in occult or channeling. Is just difficulty 1.
I will. So we're going to find some.
That's just the one pass for me.
That's 2 passes.
Generate a momentum.
We find we actually have one for this session. Get go.
Yeah.
Let's go, fellas.
As the two of you move away, of course, you haven't quite addressed the large iron-skinned elephant on the boat at the moment.
What are you on about?
Which is the fact that you all saw Edlynnne die, or more precisely, her corpse, and she now stands broad as anything directly in front of you. The right side of her head completely balded, a sheen of iron having overtaken the skin from about here down. The only point that still remains organic is her eye, which, as it kind of moves around to each of you, you notice that the veins in her eyes are all dyed a very, very distinct silver color now. Kurt and the woman who was with him have been moved under deck. Kurt, of course, rather badly wounded, unconscious, and when you last saw him, bleeding heavily. Eli is below deck with them both. There's not really enough room for anyone else to get there. Your small group, as I say, are kind of huddled in place. Bismarck has moved over to Cecily and refuses to leave your side. There is, upon inspection, a large cut running from just down his side across his left flank, where a bullet grazed him.
He's a good boy.
He's the bestest boy.
The best boy.
For Edlynnne and Jack, as you get further and further away, you become very, very aware of this this feeling of cool air that's been following you, and in fact following, as you're aware, especially Jack, following your entire group, just disappears. Slowly but surely, as you pull further and further away from the ship, you start to feel slightly warmer. It's still a cold night, but there is this chill that just leaves your body. As if something that has been holding over you for a while has faded. With your past checks, you're very aware that that is the feeling of essentially a spell failing. And as you get that sensation, as your senses kind of come back to you and your adrenaline spike for all of you, bluntly, depresses and fades. So we come back to you. And I ask, What are you doing?
You said that I couldn't fit below deck, could I?
Not with all of them down there,
Okay.
but there's nothing stopping you going and poking your head in.
Sorry, I might poke my head in and see if Kurt wants some patching up, because he's in a pretty bad shape.
You move past the rest of the party into the small cabin room where you can see Max, who just kind of smiles at you and gestures down. You poke your head down in through a small trapdoor that just leads underneath, and you can see cramped onto a table is Kurt. His shirt and most of his other gear have been just removed to show this mass of wounds covering his torso. His stomach has been shredded to the point that you can see organs starting to protrude. His right arm has been torn apart. You can see it's been flayed to the muscle on the on his right bicep. All in all, he is rapidly bleeding out, and if he doesn't receive proper medical attention, will not make it through the night. The woman who came with you, the one with the heavy burns, is checking him over. You can see her just rapidly grabbing bandages and doing her best. But you've seen field dressings before, and this is all that is. It's not going to save him. It's just going to keep some blood in there a little bit longer. You can hear her just cursing under her breath. No, you're not going like this. This is not the way you die. And Eli, besides them, is stood aghast, very clearly no idea what to do. He's just tapping his hand on the table, kind of right next to a small medical kit. Mm-hmm. Completely useless. And you get the feeling that he knows it.
Okay. I think I'm going to step in. I'm going to offer to take over the bandages. I'm going to send Eli to find something to cauterize wounds with. I'm assuming the sewing kit has needles. Sewing kit. Medical kit. I'm assuming it's also a sewing kit. I'm going to need needles and thread and if they've got fresh water for cleansing wounds, anything like that. I'm just going to set to work on Kurt as best I can, given that we're on a little boat. It's probably, I'm guessing Underdeck probably has some lighting. You said that there were bandages there, so I'm guessing they've got some provisions, bits of wood for splints, because I know his right arm was snapped, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm going to do my best to, keep him alive.
You wave Eli out, who just puts up no struggle whatsoever. He just goes the moment you motion for him to. The woman just kind of steps out of your way. Are you a doctor?
Yes, I am.
She just kind of steps back, slides it across to you. It is worryingly thin. There are some bandages, a small amount of what the easiest equivalent would be morphine, half a dose, some smelling salts, and that's about it. It's more of a jumped up first aid kit than it is a medical bag.
Okay.
Yes, Max.
Do we have any momentum?
You have one.
Okay. Can I use a void point to say that there is a bigger and better medical kit hidden behind the stairs that has sewing kits and things like that? Cool.
Of course you can.
I'm going to do that.
Right.
Amazing. I'll give you a momentum for that, as that was a generally selfless use of that.
Oh. That's nice.
You look over the kit that she's handed you, a kind of in a very almost derisive manner, just going, what the fuck is this? Glance around, and just by the illumination of the small gas lights that are dotted around the room, under the stairs, you see a larger bag, just kind of shoved in with a few other boxes, as if things have just been rapidly moved out of the center of the room and thrown aside without much thought of what they are. Just out of a part of it, you notice a kind of line of gauze, which is just hanging out. Grab that, pull it over, swing it open. Inside, you find a fully stocked medical bag. Everything you could possibly need. Treat it just as a standard medical kit. with 5 charges.
Cool. I'm going to take that with me when we get off the boat. Unless I use all 5 charges on Kurt.
You certainly can. At the moment, he needs stabilizing. If you do me a quick reason medicine check, we're going to say difficulty 2, just to start with.
Okay. Sorry, counting. Throw my dice. I rolled a nat 1, and then I threw the other dice on the floor.
That's
I'm going to roll that dice again.
And now we just see if there's momentum involved.
You said it was another success. It's not another nat 1, but it's another success.
Hey.
Yeah.
That will generate you another momentum then, which pushes you up
My
to
elbow on the desk in celebration.
3 momentum.
correct. Stabilizing him is going to actually be a lot harder than you think it is. Checking over the injuries, they are so profoundly jagged that there's not a clean cut amongst them. Every single cut looks as if someone had, as you saw, quite literally forced barbed wire into the wound and then twisted it repeatedly.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like whoever was trying to, basically, it looks like Traeger, if he wasn't wounding to kill, he was wounding to maim.
Mm-hmm.
There was no interest in trying to kill him in anything other than as messy a manner as physically possible. It is going to be you've stabilized him, we will say, with your pass of 3. However, he has 3 injuries, all of which, if left untreated, will kill him before the morning.
Right.
Time to go to work.
Each one of those injuries is essentially got a effect on it called debilitating, which means the difficulty of any skill test used to treat the injuries dealt by it is increased by 1. So you will be starting to treat the first injury at a difficulty rating of 4.
Okay. We have momentum though, right?
You do have momentum. As you you make your quick assessment, you start fishing through the kit to see what you might be able to use to help, and we'll nip straight back up to see if there's anything anyone else wants to do on the deck.
I will start with you. Ask quickly. Are momentum and medical kit different? So if I do 2 momentum and 1 medical kit?
Yes, you can.
Does that work? Okay, cool.
Yeah, you basically just spend the charges in the same way you'd spend momentum.
Cool, but they're separate, so you can't add
they're
on.
Separate
okay.
Cool. Correct.
You could. Yeah, you couldn't use a med kit in momentum because, yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. So as Cecily busies herself downstairs trying to save Kurt's life, what is everyone else doing?
I mean, I'm just going to be completely ignoring the fact that I have just come back from death and honestly trying to figure out a way of how we could possibly get Sam back in the future, because nowhere we turn this boat around to get him now. So I'm just kind of be just like in my own little world, just either sat or stood somewhere, just trying to plan stuff in my head, speaking out loud, but like muttering, wishing, so I sound like a madman.
You kind of glance back just as you're pulling away, and you can see the outline of the ship you've just left in the far distance. It's a large enough ship to still be visible. The lights on its decks are still blazing, and you just instinctively know by looking at the ship that Sam is still on board, as that ship just gets further and further away.
Motherly instinct, what can I say? I'm just kind of stood there watching the ship, just trying to not so much plan as to just try to figure out what then our next steps could be, but just kind of letting everybody else do what they kind of want to do. Own little world she's in at her moment, so.
Doing a similar thing, could I ascertain a direction from the stars and seeing the ship and ascertain a direct, like, is it going north, south, blah, blah, blah?
Do me a, we will say, reason survival, difficulty 2.
Donkey. Nah, it's 2 failures. I am like, shit.
You genuinely have no idea. The ship is too far off at the moment to be anything other than a silhouette, and is moving too slowly to really get an idea of where it's going at this distance.
Okay.
That, and you don't recognize any of the stars in the sky.
What is
more,
north?
I was going to say, which is more ignorance than the star change.
Okay. I was going to say, hang on a minute.
Just to clarify.
So
These
imagine
stars
Jack
are a
going,
different
what's that? And then like Sybil just leaning over, that's the moon.
What the fuck?
I really do like the idea of you going, right, I'll figure out which way they go. Has anyone got a compass?
I mean, you do. Well, we have.
Had.
Everything is past tense.
Yeah.
Well, it's all on the boat.
Yeah. Yay. I think as people are in their own worlds, I'm up on the deck. I think I'll go and see how Edlynne's doing. Because no one's really interacted with her since she's been raised from the dead again.
She doesn't need healing, so on. I love you, Eddie, but you seem to be doing all right.
I'm fine, honestly. It's good. It's good.
She's chilling.
You know me.
She's chilling.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. You take a couple of steps over, just shortening the distance between you and Eddie. And just against the moonlight, you see, of course, where her hairline stops. Just halfway across her head and then just folds into that ironwork. And you can just see the glint of the moonlight running off of it as you kind of approach towards her.
I mean, if anyone ever needs a mirror, just saying.
On-demand mirror.
Stop moving your head. No.
Why do I look like a spoon?
Okay.
Edlynnne, your head shit. Oh, like, Edlynnne, come on, get your mirror stuff together, man.
As you
Say you like one of
towards her,
those Jamaican steel drums.
Maybe if you put some like dents in the head, maybe, yeah.
as you start to just kind of close the distance between you, and again, you're just more aware of your senses at the moment. The adrenaline spike, as I mentioned, has kind of disappeared. There's this kind of static to the air as you start moving towards her. The hairs just around the network of protruding obsidian around your jawline just stand on end. And as you just instinctively kind of put your hand up just to brush the feeling away, you realize that there's that warmth coming off of the obsidian.
Eddie, you feeling anything? Well, I say you feeling anything weird.
Well, I mean, I've kind of died twice, I guess. Maybe that could not consult. What am I on about? That could, I mean, I'm not feeling particularly okay. Yeah.
How's your head?
Feels fine. Definitely have to get something to. I'm gonna guess it doesn't look the best, does it? I haven't really seen those.
It is genuinely horrifying to look at.
So just like looking at me then. Cool.
Do not say things like that, Holly.
Self-burn, it's fine.
It's the fact that one side of her face emotes and moves completely normally, but the moment you cross over to the iron, apart from the eye, nothing moves.
So just like talking to someone who's had Botox done, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's not actually iron that Edlynnne has, it is just Botox.
Painted Botox.
The new trend.
Everyone's doing it in Weiss, it's fine.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'll
You
say,
say so. I mean, on the bright side,
you can headbutt people much more effectively now.
I mean, I guess. I don't really know if that would maybe be a bright side. Not too sure. I mean, how are you? Did anybody else get hurt after, I kind of died? Whatever. I mean, obviously apart from Alistair, but anybody else kind of get hurt?
I mean, no one's doing too well.
Yeah,
for sure. But
yeah.
Kurt's. Have you seen Kurt yet?
I saw him briefly, and I had to double check to make sure it was him.
I don't know how to put this, but from what I've heard, maybe if you do want to have a chat, make it within the next couple of hours. Just in case,
I doubt after everything, I'm kind of the last person he wants to see. Considering everything we kind of did.
He did seem at least a little mournful when he found out what had happened before we all got off the ship. But he came back for all of us, at least, so maybe there's still time to make some amends. Might make you feel a bit better.
Maybe, but I'll let everyone else have their words first. I just want to kind of figure out what happened. I've got some stuff I've kind of got to process, but yeah. I'll give him, if I have time, I'll go have a chat with him.
But if you need to chat to anyone, I've seen some creepy stuff, so...
I may need to take you up on the offer at some point when we're off the boat, kind of away from everybody else, if that's okay.
Yeah. Let's get to somewhere a little less...
and then... Yeah, I might have to take you up on the offer.
I'll like kind of not go for a pat on the back, but kind of as if someone would, if they would like be okay with touching people on the back. Mm-hmm. Just kind of and I'll just knock this side of them. Cool.
You give it the old hover hand and just kind of
awkwardly kind of walk off and
you just you step away, and that's when you can see Jack just kind of stood in the middle of the deck, looking up at the stars, looking over at the ship in the distance, and just
doing all right, Jack. I'd say it a bit quieter than that. Doing all right, Jack.
As I said, it's a very small deck. So Jules, you're there with everyone else at the same time.
I can't make heads or... You don't know how to read star direction, do you?
Hey.
Or anybody.
I mean, if you think about it, which way have we always been trying to go?
I mean, away from
south. Is it south?
South.
Yep.
So which way south?
I think it's the way the boat's heading, because I think the only way out of Salsa is south.
So, yeah, because it... So south...
Oh.
Is it southwest? I think it's going southwest.
If it would be going away from the port.
Yeah, because we turned up from the south entrance, but it's going southwest, I think.
Well, we turned from the south entrance.
Can I
but
roll to see if I'm correct?
You would have come in from the north.
You can certainly try.
Yeah,
go for it.
To the west.
That's 2 passes.
I'll do it. Southhurt's ports are on the southern side of the town.
So they're going south.
So you are currently heading north, because you are heading back to Southhurt.
Okay.
Most precisely, you're heading northwest.
Yeah, oh no.
So they'll be going southeast.
So they're going southeast. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You assume. Was that a test to actually see where the ship is going or where you're going, just for clarification on my end?
Well, by vice versa, if I know where I'm going, it's the opposite of where they're going.
If you're assuming their direction.
Their direction at this exact point, by proxy, if I know which way I'm going, they're going the opposite. However, will I know their destination? No.
That's basically it, unless you would like to spend a momentum and ask the question where they are going.
Yeah, go on then. Let's spend a momentum. Where are they going, Ben?
You tell us.
You double check. Going by, you work off your immediate assumption, which is if they're staying the same course they originated on, yes, they would have been heading directly southeast. As you kind of step away from Jack, also towards the rear of the ship, you spend a little bit of time and you realize they're turning. And they're turning to pursue.
They can fuck right off.
Okay. I'll whisper to everyone. I'll go, guys, the ship's turning around. What do you want us to do? I mean, that's all I can do, but like, what are we going to do when we get there? We've got nowhere we can go. Does anyone know any area that we know that they won't be?
Would have gone there first, wouldn't we?
We would have been there already.
But we do. They told us this, I believe.
Well, what do we know? We know that if they're coming back, they still need something from us, right?
Probably
So they weren't just after Sam. Why would they kill us? They tried to make a deal with us to get Sam, and then Sam, and they're still coming back.
Because we wanted criminals, and it's their job
to kill us.
Well,
kill
no,
us.
it's their job to find the channelers, and they've been obviously looking at.
Yeah, and
are you guys channelers though?
All I'm saying is Juliana seemed, when we chat, very keen to get Sam, and really not overly bothered what happens to us. Why would they turn around an entire ship just to?
Well,
That's
I mean,
true.
I don't know about you guys, but I kind of.
You'd think
they'd
to death.
No, but you had a point there.
They'd have other ground assets. So, I mean, maybe they'll send a message and just say, "Hey, the search is still on." But it is a lot of resources to pull into. Maybe they're trying to.
I think Subil's right. What was that deal that Juliana was trying to make you take? It was something, but then we're all free except for Sam, wasn't it? Right?
I remember right. Yeah.
Why?
She was only interested in Sam is the key to this.
And why are they turning around?
Under the moment, all we can go on the assumption is they're here to kill us, which is fair enough.
Another thing.
Well, I mean, they fell twice. Oh, he's trying to kill one of us. So I mean, I'm fight them as long as they fucking want. Honestly.
We're trying to save this kid.
Yes.
Yeah, we're saving Sam.
Yeah,
that's.
But if we go back to the boat now, if we let that boat catch us, we're dead.
Well, sure. So, what's the best place that we could go to? I remember someone mentioning that the warehouse district was really empty.
As you say that, from the little cabin, the window is open. Max just kind of leans out as he's just holding everything steady. The plan is to get you back to the warehouses. We've got somewhere we can lie low for a bit. If they're following, I mean, he kind of glances back himself. There is no way, by the Martyr's light, they know where we are right now.
Right.
But Southhurt is also the closest port.
How much? I'll lean over to Max and go, Max, how long do you think it's going to take us to get back to? How much head start have we got?
We'll get there in maybe an hour, 2, if we're lucky. Faster than they do.
Do we know? Can the Inquisition get any message back before they get back in person?
No. Not unless they're, sending by pigeon. But that's 10 years old at this point.
Where is pending right now?
Where is pending right now?
Swear
was
to
pending.
God, I'm gonna kill this fucking bird.
I knew that bird was a traitor.
I've been telling you from the beginning. This bird is a fucking asshole.
Sybil, if pending's on their side, I'm killing it myself.
If it's pending, then they're threatening his family. He's got nothing to do with this, okay?
If he's pending, I'm killing him.
Pending is
pending.
a bird. He has no allegiance.
We've lost so many people.
I'll have a chat with
side with a bird.
Pending is a
I
fucking
see that
bird.
bird. I'm killing it.
Fuck's sake.
Cecily's probably too absorbed in her work to join the conversation, but considering how small the boat is, can I hear it? Hear it through the floor above?
You can indeed. But as we kind of come to the point where, Cecily, you can hear what's going on above, you're also quite literally at this point arm deep in Kurt.
This is lucky night.
I very much require you to make me a coordination medicine check, please. It is difficulty 4.
Difficulty.
With a complication range of 17 up.
You got 5 momentum in terms of medkit, and you've got 3 in terms of momentum. So you've got a lot to work with.
That is true.
Do you
So I'm not allowed that little +2?
momentum.
Am I next to my coordination?
No. Tell you what we'll do is
No, it's fine. I've got so without buying anything else, I have 16 to beat.
Okay.
Which isn't too
pretty
bad,
good.
and I've got a focus in first aid and pharmacology, so that helps as well. But did you say the difficulty is going to come down the more I heal him? So the next time it'll be
the more wounds you fix, the lower the difficulty will be.
So if that medkit's got
5
charges, if I use 2, how much is that going to help me?
Well, it's basically they work the same as momentum. So one charge is 1 point of momentum.
Okay, so I might do 2 charges of medical kit, and then maybe it's difficult.
Well, 2 charges would still only get you 1 dice because it's 3 3 for 2 dice.
3 charges to get 2 dice.
Maybe do 3 charges on the med kit and get 2.
We do have 3 momentum after that, so if you run out of med kit charges, you can still go back to momentum.
If you want to cool down someone down into the cabin for an assist or something like
that might help. Can I have... Is anyone good at medicine? Can I get you to assist me?
I don't think so, but I'll double check.
So do I just... Am I rolling dice for the med kit?
No.
I've never actually done this before. I apologize.
No, it's just a straight test. If you're asking for help, the woman offers.
Ooh, okay. I will take her help because she's there.
She has a focus in first aid.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, lady. Okay, I want her to assist me.
She a bad bitch.
Okay, sorry, I have a hair that's stuck to my face. So if I use the medkit to buy some more dice, use the medkit to buy 2 dice.
Go for it.
So I'm rolling a total of 4 dice with a difficulty 4 test, and she's helping me.
Correct. However, failure, obviously, it will kill him.
Okay.
Complications may not, but they will have other problems.
Okay.
Go for it.
Scared.
So no pressure.
1 success. 2 success. Come on, dice. Not 1! Fuck yeah! Okay, last dice. Come on, you can do this dice.
Oh, fuck me.
Success! Just a 15 when I needed 16.
Yes!
That's momentum!
Oh,
Including your help, you actually get 6 successes.
Oh my god!
So let's do this,
5 momentum!
I'm sweating, I was so nervous.
it's like the bit from Cloudy and the Chance of Meatballs. Scalpel, bandage, sandwich. Bone. Just machine.
I will ask which wound you are focusing on first.
Whichever's the most likely to kill him. So I'm guessing that's where all his organs are exposed and stuff.
You have the stomach is exposed to the point that the skin will basically need. Thankfully, you're an alchemist. You know that there is such. You have access to something that can literally cause the skin to regrow. At the moment, you are just patching. On the other hand, on his arm, his arteries have been exposed.
Ooh, yeah, let's fix that.
It's literally just you have your aide. All she is really doing is rapidly replacing the bandages and keeping pressure there to just stop him bleeding out.
Okay. I think if we, I guessing, yeah, arteries bleeding out is probably the most life-threatening thing. So I think we get that under control first.
Okay, you patch that up to the best of your ability with what you have. Giving him, you kind of past the point of painkillers at this point because he is just out of it. That is also the next thing that he has been unconscious now for at least 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. He's still got a pulse and he's breathing. He should be fine.
Yeah, I mean,
it's probably better that he's been unconscious for 20 minutes while we're sticking needles in him and trying to patch him all up together than him being conscious and screaming.
It is It's a dirty job. Definitively a dirty job. You are working literally in a filthy environment with tools you've pulled out of a bag. Mm-hmm. There will be extensive scarring. Mm-hmm. But you're fairly sure you're going to make sure that the arm is still usable in the future. Mm-hmm. You patch that up to the best of your ability, rebandage everything, and just make mental note that that's going to need to be changed every hour. Mm-hmm. At which point you then move on to the stomach, grit your teeth, and prepare to start working, which is when we'll go back to the rest of the group and come back to you in a moment.
I think we're still having the pending argument, aren't we? We're still
I'm just down there just like,
he's a fucking bird! Oh my god.
You become aware as you're kind of talking to Max that Eli has made his way out of the undership, closed the trapdoor, and is just kind of quietly sat in the room behind Max, just staring at the trapdoor, just basically sat like this. As you kind of glance over at him, as you're kind of just pacing the ship, you get a moment, Jack, as you're kind of walking around, your coat, your new inquisitorial robes just get stuck on a piece of wood for a moment, and it just gets this feeling of someone tugging on your clothes, and instinctively you go down to just see what Sam wants.
Oh god.
There's nothing but empty space there.
I think at that point, Jack would probably break down and have a little quiet cry to himself.
Subil. As well, I guess.
You kind of just take yourself a few steps away and just sit on the edge of the ship. You can feel it just bouncing against the waves, and you're just being rocked to and fro. And you just, of all the things, you just get this glimpse of a memory of seeing one of Sam's toys, just the little owl he was given, left just lying on the floor of the sewers. It just passes through your mind for a moment on where that is now. Make a will resilience check, please.
I'm going to choose to fail this.
Have a void point. As you just kind of slowly lean into yourself, and moments later, tears just start pouring from your face and dropping onto the deck, rapidly just disappearing under the slosh of the water that just comes over the side.
Got over next to him. I'm not going to say anything, but I will put my hand on his shoulder.
You put your hand out to touch him on the shoulder, and there's this feeling of revulsion that passes through your body for a moment. I'm going to need you to make a will resilience check of 4.
I'm going to give it a go.
to overcome your phobia.
Could I argue? Okay, bear with me. Could I argue that because this is to comfort Jack, that Jack's breakdown is inadvertently an assist because it would.
I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Right. Happy not to.
Oh,
that works.
It would help, I suppose.
What am I rolling then?
We'll say for you.
Or would it be a reduced difficulty by one thing?
I will say that, yeah. Rather than make you roll for it, we'll just reduce the difficulty down to 3.
Yeah, it's more passive. That's just 2. Yeah.
You put your hand out to try and place it on him, and you just cannot bring yourself to do it.
I'll just put my hands both on the front rails and just stare ahead, hoping that my presence will be at least a little comforting.
You just kind of sit there watching this. As the time has gone on with Jack, you've seen him as this very quiet, very withdrawn man breaking down next to you. He's grown in front of you over all of this time. Quite literally, you've seen him gone from being hunched over and never saying a word to being very loud, very, very fatherly. This hulk of a man has just been reduced to nothing next to you as the ship just continues to bob along. Edlynnne? Jules?
I'm just staring straight at the ship, like the inquisitorial ship, just kind of watching it just to see if it does anything does anything kind of no longer in my own little world. Mainly just thinking of ways of how we can potentially get Sam back, kind of thing.
Do we're going to say reason tactics check for me.
Hold on, what do I have? Would my military tactics help with that or not?
Military tactics will definitively help with that.
You said reason tactics, yeah?
Reason tactics. It is going to be difficulty 3 to try and think of something without really knowing much about the layout of the ship between you walk down one corridor or how the Inquisition operates. So it's going to be a difficult check, yeah. But
come on, right, Edlynnne, if you ever pass any check, make it this one. Yeah, so I rolled a 6, which is a pass, and then a 3, which technically is a crit. Like basically it's a crit, so that is 3 passes altogether. So, it did what she needed to do.
So fails from here on out.
Yeah. From here on out, she did shit, but right now, she did something smart.
You kind of just stand there and keeping one of your hands gripped into the side of the ship you're on.
Yeah.
You just stare down the vessel in the far distance. And running through your mind, you just go through, if you were in charge, what would you do? What would you have been trained to do? And you build a few quick assumptions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's all these are. These are assumptions. So take them
off of.
As you will. One option you run through is that clearly they had a superior on that ship with them that left, that superior being Canehurst. If things have gone this far south as rapidly as they have, they're probably doubling back to report. The other option is that they may not actually be turning to face you. They could be heading just to land somewhere else to try and work out what to do next.
Mm-hmm.
The other option is that, they are just distinctly pursuing you, that you're not as hidden as you think you are. There's also the last niggling thought that hangs in the back of your head, which is more of a memory of something you heard.
Yeah.
That it was, I believe it was Canehurst stated that their money was well spent in knowing where you were going to be upon leaving the oil lantern.
I actually remember that being said as well.
There could be something there, a reason for them to be coming back as well. But the most obvious thing that runs through your mind is that they may not have a way of communicating the fact you've escaped, and doubling back is the best way of passing that information on.
Okay. I'll kind of just, I'll think of those four options. I wrote them down briefly. And kind of just, if Subil and Jack are kind of in one corner, I'll kind of just turn to Jules, and I'll just, as kind of the only other person on the ship who I can kind of talk to about it, I'll just tell her what they could potentially be doing. But obviously, grain of salt in it, kind of, this could be why they're doing this. So, yeah, I'll just turn to Jules and be like, look, the way
Go for it.
Yeah, it's like, look, this may be completely wrong. This may be completely wrong, but they could be turning this way for one of four reasons. Now, again, I could be wrong for this, because let's remember I've kind of been out of it for a little bit. But they could be going to report to Canehurst, seeing as things went pretty bad the second we kind of got away from Southside. They could just be trying to land somewhere. You know, it's pretty late at night, and I don't know how well. Obviously, I don't know much about Chalician seas and oceans and stuff, but they could just be trying to land, trying to figure out the next plan. They obviously could be following us, or there could be something in Southside that's making them go back. Because I remember something being said about money well spent. So there could be a mole somewhere who's told them about us, and if that's the case, we may not be safe if we get back to Southside. Again, these are all just things I'm assuming, so they could not be true, but keep them in mind.
If we go to the warehouse district, will we be followed? Will they know where we are?
I can't tell you one way or another. I say going to the warehouse district just for tonight may be our best option, but at the same time, they could know exactly where we are right now, and they could know about the warehouse district. So again, it may be our best option, but there could be a chance they may know where we're going if someone in Southside has paid them off without us.
Okay. We're just gonna have to keep going. Have we ransacked this shit for supplies? Because it seems like we're gonna have to hide, for sure.
Max speaks up there, being again within kind of speaking distance. I mean, strictly speaking, this isn't our ship.
Did you steal the ship?
We planned on giving it back.
Oh, okay, so you borrowed the ship.
Borrowed for an extended period of time without permission, yes.
Yeah. I like your style.
You know what? Sure, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, can't argue with that.
I didn't mean to do that. I'm not meaning to do that.
Yeah, you did. Don't lie.
I could see the instant shame and recognition as you said that. I could tell you didn't mean to, because your own face went...
That's what happens when all the jokes you're exposed to are dad jokes.
I love it.
And then, knowing that this isn't our boat, can I start stealing?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you can.
I'm about to say, Jules, if you see anything that could be used as a weapon, could you kind of pass it over to me, please? I kind of need something to, like, spin around in my hand because I'm getting very agitated right now.
In your hand, the best thing I got, and I pull out 2 knuckle dusters.
Yeah.
I got this. Do you want them, hun? It does take out your anger.
Love it.
You know what? Sure, I'll take them.
I'm gonna give you the knuckle dusters.
I have the knuckle dusters now. Here we are.
I've had them pretty much since the beginning.
God, I want those so bad.
I know. My character has no idea that you want them.
I know.
Does it make you mad that I now have them?
No, not more. I'm just the anger has changed course.
You pass the knuckle dusters over. If anything, you now feel, oddly smaller. And at that point, you just kind of look around the ship. If you can do me... Okay, what we're going to do is I'm going to give you an insight observation check of 0. For every success you get, you can give me a rough idea of something you're looking for. See if the ship provides.
Could I
The
A,
ship provides.
assist in looking, and B, would survive and thrive possibly help? Foraging, it does specify in the wild, but you could argue that we are just in the wild of the sea on our vessel.
I could argue a lot of things, Billy.
And I meant.
I would say,
You too.
unfortunately, as you've done your action for the turn, which was trying to console Jack, that you're still kind of focusing on that. And whereas you can see Jules just kind of pick herself up and start wandering around, you don't really have an idea of what she's actually doing.
No dice. We're good.
Okay. Just 2.
As many as you want to spend momentum.
There's 5 momentum.
I feel like it's only fair to use 1 momentum.
Yeah, I feel 1's justified.
1 momentum's fine, yeah?
Potentially 3.
Insight observation, did you say?
Insight observation.
Okay. So that's 1 pass, and so that's 2 passes.
Okay. So just a kind of quick, immediate idea of stuff that's really easy to spot. On a quick cursory glance, before you spend any momentum, you do find one thing. Just right up next to the trapdoor is a large single-shot rifle. A heavy board barrel, which looks like it's designed to take a round significantly larger than a standard weapon. It's not a musket. It looks quite a bit more advanced than that. It is definitively, in conventional terms, it is a single-shot rifle.
Single shot. Okay.
It bears a name on it, just kind of stamped to the side, which is Grenadis.
Grenadis. Okay.
Not a name you distinctly recognize.
No, I didn't think so.
Unless, do you, I don't know if we've established this, do you speak Wissian?
No, I do not. I do not need to make a check. I am 100% sure I have not.
I know I don't. That's fine.
Yeah.
You notice it's got just on the rest, just at the back, there's a leather covering that's gone over it, and just slotted in are 6 rounds.
Okay, so it's okay. Okay.
It's like a harpoon gun.
No, it's
Nade launcher.
It's a single shot rifle, but
Yeah,
it's
single shot rifle.
single shot rifle.
Massive.
To give you a kind of good real world link, it would be something akin to an elephant gun.
Nice.
okay. Yeah, no, I get you.
What are they having
So
on this little boat?
Okay, why the fork have they got an
Sea
elephant gun in this boat?
well, it's for sea elephants to do it.
Elephants, elephant seals.
Cows.
Do I know anyone who has ever used a gun of that sort in our group? Or
You've never seen a gun of this caliber before.
I will just laugh if you said, do I know anyone who speaks Wishian after just speaking to the person who had a very, very thick Wishian accent?
I wonder who
Only we have
speaks
people who
Wishian.
spoke-
Well, because I know that you speak Wishian, I will go up to you at some point during them being like, I found this gun. Do you know what this word means on it?
I mean, I'm going to guess Edlynnne kind of would, wouldn't she?
You take a look over it. I need you to make me a reason engineering test, please. Difficulty 1. Only 1 because you're Wissian.
Haha. Well, I do not have engineering, so reason it is. Go. They both fell on the floor.
Good start.
Can
reasonable.
I try and assist through the
I got a
floor? Because I've got.
Not through the floor, unfortunately.
Oh, damn it. Even though I
I
could
got a
overhear the
2.
conversation.
I got a 2, meaning that I got a pass, meaning that I did something right. That's one pass for me.
You can speak your own language. Well done.
Hey!
I mean, I
I
can't, but
barely can do
Edlynnne
that.
can.
You take a look over it, just to get a brief idea. You don't recognize the gun by any stretch of the imagination. You know it's new, or at least it's either new or immaculately cared for. You see, kind of running down the barrel, just on the kind of handrest, there's actually several notches that have just been carved into it. But the name Grenadis was up until shortly before you left one of the largest weapon manufacturers in West. They were going through revolutionizing firearms, whereas in Chalice, the majority of firearms are still, to use the quick terms, kind of shot weapons. So not cartridges, they are literally you load in gunpowder, then put in the shot, then fire. The more advanced version of that is what you would see, what Jules has been carrying up until this point, which are essentially paper cartridges, which would be slit in, glued over, and then fired. This is an actually cartridge-fed gun, which was where the Grenadis firing weapons company was aiming. They had gotten to the point where...
Not just me making the bad jokes today, guys.
I know, I could
Full of puns tonight.
The last you heard was that they had developed lever-action rifles. Shortly after that news went out, though, essentially the head of their company died. And the inheritor of the company, his daughter, went missing.
Okay.
I wonder who that was.
These firearms
Twinkie dink.
manufacturers
I
aren't very
think
good
not.
at protecting themselves, are they?
If it's who I think it is, then if it's who I think it is, then bloody fucking hell.
You
No.
It's not.
also
I know it probably
Get
isn't,
this.
but still, if it is.
you get this weird moment where you look at it and you're fairly sure you've seen that name more recently. Like 100% sure that you have seen it somewhere recently, but you don't quite recall where.
Okay.
Grenadis.
As if someone has said it to you or kind of given you something with it written on it.
Well, I'll check the knuckle dusters, but I don't have anything on
Definitely not on the knuckle dusters.
Unless
That's got hate and love written on it.
Yeah,
I mean, it was worth a shout. It was worth a go.
I know.
mean,
The only other thing I can think of that I've been given recently would have been the dragon stone that a certain merchant gave me, but I don't see that being written on there for any reason, so I'm not too sure.
You cast your mind back to that and kind of think over the Dragonstone. I'm going to offer you to spend a momentum.
Do we have momentum to spend?
Yeah, we do.
yes.
I would like to spend it because I want to know.
You
Just
kind
know,
of think back to
This is Kurt's
when,
life on the line.
yeah. When you think back to it and you kind of you memorize, think over holding the stones, talking to Lucas, and you realize it wasn't on the stone, but he said the name.
I made a connection.
Ooh.
Lucas distinctly asked you
Yeah.
to hand a letter to someone whose last name was Grenadis.
Eureka. That's it. Did I just quote Horrid Henry? Hey, Collie.
You did, didn't you?
I mean, I fear to say that someone else significantly more important than Horrid Henry said Eureka.
No, but I said Eureka, that's it. And that's Horrid Henry.
As we all know, that's Horrid Henry.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, duh.
Eureka is somebody else.
I was just really happy that I somehow remembered the Dragonstone, and that's somehow I'm happy, Holly. I am gonna, when I remember all this and I don't have my Eureka moment because Edlynnne's never saying that in her life, I'm gonna again relay this information to Jules, and then maybe also go over to Subil and Jack and just be like, I had a big brain moment, okay?
Just with regards to everything that we've been through, do we still have that letter on us somewhere?
There's no fucking way like we would have it on us.
Can I spend a void point and pretend they just didn't look in one of my inner pockets?
I'm happy for you to spend a void point on still having that letter.
Yeah. Cool. I've got 3, so I figure it's. Yeah. I have a feeling, I don't know why, but something's telling me this might be a good plot point to give this woman a letter. So
yes.
I
will say this just before you make that decision.
Yeah?
Remember, you can only spend 1 void point per scene, and you are still in the midst of saving Kurt's life.
I'm gonna wait a little bit.
Could I give you chaos to say that we had the letter?
No.
Damn it.
I've tried that so many times.
I used my void point last week.
You know the currency of the realm, and the currency is void points.
Yeah, but I don't have void. When do I ever have void points, Ben?
No, but what if I gave you this solid bar?
Well, I spent it last week, so I could do something cool, and I regret it. But it's fine.
You make the link.
I did a big brave moment, so I'm happy.
At which point, I still have to remind myself that our good friend Jules still has 2 things that she can ask for.
Okay.
And if one of those things is that letter that Lynn was meant to be carrying.
Look what I found.
Kurt somehow has it.
I would like to look for the docking station and warehouse that this boat would go to and would travel to load and unload. Any documents?
Okay.
Because if it's a gunship, I might as well find the guns.
Any documents that could get us possibly into another port or anything? Any fake documents that these?
So basically, any documents from
You have a little rummage, making your way through the upper deck, and you eventually realise there's nothing of that nature on the open deck. You go into the wheelhouse where Max and Eli are, and realise the only place where anything could be is the small cupboards just kind of by Max's knees. So you just kind of push him to one side and start peeling through there, and eventually you do find a small logbook, as well as tucked in under there on a small portion that kind of opens up deeper than it originally looks, netting and fishing ropes and wires, as well as a large lobster cage.
Is there a lobster in there?
There is not, unfortunately.
Dinner.
That could have been dinner. Yeah.
Okay, Ben, but is there a giant crab?
No.
Good.
There are only 3 people who know that.
Exactly, that's why it's funny.
You grab the logbook and just flick through there, and you realise that the ship is owned by a Mr. A. Harvard, who was up until this point just a fisherman. It shows months upon months of notes of different spots to try. You've got kind of nautical waypoints written down, haulage, transfer, and it all points you towards a singular slip on the Dusk Docks. There's a piece of paper that essentially shows his ownership of a very small portion of it. He doesn't own a warehouse there, but you do see trade to a local fisheries, which, for the sake of fun, we're going to call Fontaine Fisheries.
Cannon.
Okay.
But you definitively find that.
I then want to, because I know it's fishing, I want to look for any wet weather gear, such as ponchos and stuff like that, that we can cover people in.
You move around a little bit more, kind of just checking around that room, and you do find right at the back end of it, near where Eli is sat, a heavy cupboard. You swing that open, and inside, hanging there in various sizes, are big leather greatcoats, as well as quite large hats that descend downwards and would cover kind of the sides of your face a bit. Alongside that, there are gloves with quite a lot of grip built into the hand. And some heavy wading boots. 4 sets of those. They're going to be awkwardly fitted because they seem to be a size definitively larger than you, as if handed out for, you'd say, maybe a fairly well-built man in his 40s, early 50s.
So I guess I'll say for Jack. Who else is it? Edlynnne, and maybe 2 of the boys. I'll hand them out.
Yeah, easily done.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll hand them out.
I'd assume the boys still have their kit because they weren't captured. They came in safe.
Oh, then yeah.
They're dressed normally. They're still in kind of their highway gear, as it were.
Then I'll just do, I guess.
They'd still, don't get me wrong, they'd still fit you. It will just be a very clearly ill fit.
Okay. Because I see that Cecily is a little bit busy at the moment, I'll just give it to Edlynnne, Jack, me, and Subil.
Easily done. And because it's quite hard leather, if you're wearing it, it will give you a point of armor at all times.
Oh.
What was it? Is that going to be too much for my skin?
It would be ponchos.
It'd be quite heavy. Well, it's leather, so I don't know, because I'm only really happy with fairly baggy clothing.
Well, it's supposed to be baggy to get all the water off.
You're especially considering that you're still quite emancipated, not kind of rebuilt to your previous vigor. All clothing is quite baggy on you. It's heavy though.
Okay, it's not going to go like.
You'll be fine.
What would be the disadvantages for wearing this? Apart from, does it decrease my speed? What would it be?
It will basically increase the complication range on agility checks by 1, just while you're wearing them.
Is this fairly typical clothing for fishermen in the region?
Very, very much so.
Okay. I assume with Southside being a port town, there's going to be loads of people wearing this. So there will be a wide amount of people wearing, if not probably very similar gear or variations therein.
At some point, I need to try to find something to cut. There's not like fisherman's hat, is there? Because
Yeah, as I said, there are big hats that kind of cover the face.
That goes around your head.
Cool, because there's she has
a bit of a reflection.
It's just a bit.
Don't get me wrong, it's dull iron. It's just because it's a fairly cloudless night.
Still, it's quite noticeable.
Yeah.
So I would like to try to cover it up as best I can.
That was a setup and a half.
Easily done. You just have to pull it on, and it basically lasts.
Yeah, no, I'll just do that.
If anyone was to, for fairly obvious reasons, if anyone was to look you directly in the face, they'll know like that. It's just going to cover you from the side, so anyone who kind of glances at you probably won't notice it. But if they stop and talk to you, there's no way of kind of not having it noticed.
Then Angry Wishian, who do you all remember the Angry Wishian scene part we did that one time?
The Angry Wishian scene.
That Angry Wishian scene, that's going to come back again. It's going to be great.
Now you're scary Wishian. You just go.
But that's everything you turn out.
Is that everything?
Could I ask?
Yeah.
Were there, you said there was nautical charts and stuff amongst all of the documents. Does that include any maps of the region or of the coast or of the... Because there were maps of fishing spots. Anything we could use to navigate to nearer towns? Or is it all
Unfortunately not. It seems like this is the map of someone who has fished on this sea for probably decades.
Yeah.
And has almost they've gotten to the point where they write things down, one, in a barely legible manner, and two, in a way that if you aren't the person who wrote it, it's actually quite difficult to decipher. It's more of his just reminding himself of things that he just knows instinctually at this point. Below deck, however, as you finish rifling around, Lynn.
Hello. Actually managed to make myself disappear briefly. Well, I'm going to continue with my patching up of Mr. the Curt.
Mr. the Curt.
Mr. the Curt. We're down to difficulty 3 now, aren't we?
Yes.
And I've got 2 charges remaining in my medical kit, so I could buy another dice for that.
And we have 3 momentum as well.
And can I get the other lady? I'm assuming I would have got her name by now. Just a very brief introduction of like, hi, I'm Cecily, over Kurt's mangled body.
Lottie,
excellent, thank you. Lottie, right. I'm assuming Lottie is still assisting me.
She is.
Okay, so Lottie's assisting me. If I buy another dice for medical kit, so I've got 2, so that's 3 with the difficulty 3. Can I buy 1 more dice with momentum?
You can.
Just for that little safety net.
Yeah.
Cool, and I've got 16 to beat.
2 momentum left.
I always feel mean for like taking momentum. I'm like, what if someone else really needs it?
You are the only one who will need it.
Okay, right. I've got 4 dice. Huh?
But don't tell me the response. Don't tell me the result. Just roll them.
Okay. Oh, in which case I'll get out my other 2d20s because I've been re-rolling those ones.
More dramatic.
These had better be working for me. These fancy Achtung Cthulhu ones.
Well, you need to talk to Jay. Oh wait.
There's a reason he's dead. Effective dice.
Like those faces.
Now you can turn, look meaningfully at the camera, and this is where we're going to go for a short break.
Oh, suspenseful. Very nice.
We'll be back in about 10 minutes or so, where we will pick up and continue on. See everyone shortly, he says.
Just luck.
Bye.
Help us, please.
Where we find out Danny's actually.
Jaspers was like, no.
And we're back.
Hey!
Oh, how was that for timing?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect timing.
The last second.
So for those who don't see behind the scenes, every single time we have ever started an episode, just before we get to it, it's always the, has everyone got what they need? And Max will just get up and leave.
We've got no video proof, so...
They have it just
We
there,
just
to be
did.
fair.
No, I was here on time.
No, you.
I've been here the whole time.
Right. As we were,
Oh boy.
Cecily,
Hello. Oh yeah, dice.
how did you do?
How did I do? I got.
Difficulty, complication range of 17 still.
Yeah, I didn't even go. Well, I went kind of close to it, but no failures. So I got a 15, a 10, a 10, and a 2, which is a crit.
Hey! And
Hey!
with Lottie's help, of an additional 1.
So,
Kurt is going to be a new man.
so
We're rolling
Four.
six.
Back together.
another 3
You, at this
momentum.
point, have managed to cover the stomach wound as well and re-knit it to the best of your ability. It is a tight stitch by all definitions, and any movement runs the risk of tearing it back open. You need, in the simplest of terms, whereas you have succeeded, and you've succeeded well, you physically do not have the ability to repair the injuries to the fullness that they require.
Mhm.
You're going to keep him alive, and you could theoretically keep him alive in this state forever if you were always there. He needs some form of regenerative, or in more lateral terms, a skin graft.
I'm guessing I don't have any access. Like, is there an alchemical base on the ship? Would I have noticed anything like that? Is there any way I could know?
No chance in any state that there would be an alchemical base on the ship, as alchemists treat it like gold dust, as there is only one place to resupply, and that is at the College of Lakeview.
Right.
You would need access to a full alchemist's lab, your own kit, which you unfortunately know is probably still back on the Inquisition ship. You did hear, however, pulling information back a little bit, that there was an alchemist captured at the oil lantern who was operating out of it.
What I might do then is ask Eli to go and find, I think it was called Ringer, wasn't his name?
Mhm.
Yeah, I might see if Eli would be able to, because he's probably pretty keen on making sure that Kurt gets healed up himself, judging from how he was sitting outside. Might ask him to go and find the guy to get supplies, because I don't really want to leave Kurt by himself.
We know an alchemist, by the way, that is in this town. Well, I do, called
Okay.
Kyla, who was at the bar. So at some point, if we need to go back over there and pick up any weapons that we've left there, we can always ask where Kyla is based. So that's just that's if we need an alchemist in the future.
Okay. Or we could, when we land, we could always send for a doctor if we know one in the town as well, because they'll probably be able to. Yeah.
You poke your head up out of the trapdoor and grab Eli's attention. And, well, you see him just kind of sat there. The moment the door opens and you catch his attention, he goes, how's Kurt?
He's stable for now. I've managed to sort of staunch the bleeding. I've managed to stitch his stomach back up. I've just got his broken arm left to tend to, but we are going to need alchemical supplies when we make landfall, essentially. I need to be able to regenerate his skin. I need the supplies to do that. The ship doesn't have anything.
We've got a little back at the warehouse, some stuff we picked up on the way here. That might be of help.
Potentially. I need alchemical base and just various. It's fairly standard stuff. I just need to be able to mix it. If I can, if you've got if you can get me access to an alchemist kit, then I'll be able to do it.
We'd have to check when we get back. It's
Okay.
all we can really muster. He kind of glances up at Max, who just shrugs with no real knowledge. It's at that point you realise that you can see kind of Jules modelling this rather lovely giant coat.
What do you think?
Or at least kind of, yeah.
Nice gun.
Thank you. How's Kurt doing?
Kurt's stable for the moment. I can keep him like this for a while, but to heal him fully, we could probably. He can't move himself. We will have to move him, but I'm going to need access to alchemical stuff once we're off this boat. I need to get his skin regenerating to get everything healed up properly.
If we need him to move without him walking, we've got netting, we've got fishing rods. We can create some kind of like splint to pick him up or whatever it's called.
Stretcher.
You can always.
That's the one.
He'll be fine to stretcher off, but he's still unconscious. He's not going anywhere by himself. Nor would I want him to move too much because the stitches may, burst.
Right. I'll get on working with a stretcher then.
Thank you.
I'm gonna try and create a stretcher out of
Excellent.
everything we got.
You're muted, Ben.
You're muted, Ben.
We can't hear you.
So I am. More lucky you.
Well, we didn't want
It's
to.
definitely something you can attempt to do. You have, exactly as you pointed out, everything you could really need. It's not going to be comfortable by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a start. If you can, it will basically be a few checks. You'll be creating yourself a little track to try and beat, which will be based on, it'll be a reason engineering or coordination engineering. Difficulty 1 to actually pass the test, but you'll need to inflict 10 damage in total to actually make a proper setup. So it's going to take you a bit of time. And it's at this point, as you kind of start running around and looking, you actually pass into Southhurt waters more directly.
Okay, I'm gonna
I'm
gonna grab the closest person who kind of looks like they might know. Who would be the closest person to me?
Weirdly, it would be Edlynnne. I say weirdly.
And I'm going to ask Edlynnne to help you.
It kind of is weird. Last time Edlynnne met Kurt, they were like,
I'm going to ask Edlynnne to create this, whatever.
Stretcher. Okay. So one of you will need to lead the test, and the other assist. Which of you would like to lead the way?
I don't have any engineering, so mine would just be coordination.
Yeah, what's your coordination?
It's 10.
Okay, I'm 9, so you lead.
Can I assist in any way? Because I do have engineering, and I'm kind of...
If you are comfortable leaving Lottie in charge of Kurt.
I think
She's only got stats in first aid, right?
She does.
I'd say send Lottie to help with the stretcher.
Yeah, send Lottie to help with the stretcher, and I'll keep an eye on Kurt.
Okay. You poke your head down. You can see her there, just checking over the arm. What do you want to say?
Oh, sorry. For some reason, I thought you were talking to Jules. Then I was just like, I'll just say, Lottie. Jules is going to attempt to make a stretcher to help get Kurt off the boat. I know you've got a little bit of experience in it, but if you wouldn't mind just giving him a hand, and I'll keep an eye on Kurt until you're done, if that's all right. She just kind of glances down and, yeah. And she just kind of steps away, holds for a moment, just glances over him and walks up past you. She makes her way up into the main deck, out onto the deck, where at this point, Edlynnne and Jules, you've kind of gathered all of the materials you need, and you're kind of trying to work out where to start. As soon as Lottie walks in, her face now covered behind an iron mask that only shows her eyes. You hear her voice.
Kind of matching.
Yeah. She points down and just immediately goes, start hooking the poles into the side, as she does have engineering.
Nice! Nice!
So she will lead the test.
Cool.
So you
Intuition.
both assist, just via coordination or reason, whichever is higher.
Also, one pass.
Rolling that one. So that's two for me.
She rolls a crit and a pass, so 5 successes in total, which generates you 4 momentum straight away. She will take 3 of that
Yep.
to try and speed things along, basically,
Okay.
and just roll more damage against the track.
And that still leaves us with 6 momentum.
You start working along. You build up the bare skeleton of it. At the moment, it's a basis, but it doesn't have the ability to take any significant weight, so you're going to need to spend a little bit more time. For everyone, this is also where you, as I've just stated, kind of notice the ship is starting to hit kind of more shallow waters. It stops skipping and steadies itself a bit as Max begins to slow the vessel down as you enter actually live waters. Other ships are moving around. You can see some kind of the easiest way to describe this, quite literally pleasure boats riding along. You can hear people who are having fun alongside, music starting to filter back into the air. You can see the lights of the city, sun slowly dying off as you kind of hit the wee early hours of the morning. And about 1 o'clock at this point, you build a rough assumption from your earlier kind of glancing up at the sky and getting an idea of where everything is. You get a good rough assumption of time due to the position of the moon. And just you, as I say, part into those waters. Max kind of calls out, "We're about 10 minutes away."
Can I give Max the the book telling him where it is, along with the papers, to say whereabouts we're allowed to stay?
You kind of offer it up to me. Don't worry, I remember where I took it from.
Cool.
I remember where I steal things from.
I'm just going to lean over and go, how long ago did you take it?
A couple hours?
So it's not going to be reported by now. We're all right, right? Unless he's
I hope
an
not.
fisherman.
I'm sucker with it.
If
Have you ever seen an eager fisherman?
I don't know what hours fishermen fish. I'm not judging.
Probably the morning, that's what I think.
Oh, the early morning.
Early
What?
morning.
Like,
How early
Wow.
I
morning?
used to go fishing with my dad. We get up at 5 a.m.
Well,
so I would imagine
We can
early
just give it
morning.
back to him, you know?
all I'm saying is I hope he's not waiting for his boat back.
It's not stealing if you return it.
We're all right. We're all right.
As you're kind of putting everything together, though, and you mentioned that to them, Lottie, after hooking a bit in, kind of glances over. "Where's my gun?"
Well, it's I put it back, like it's just leaning up on the side.
Okay.
Like I didn't take it.
Yeah.
It's
which
fucking
case
huge
you kind
gun.
Yeah.
I'm not
It's
going
in
there.
exactly
Bigger than
the
me.
same place. It's in exactly the same place, and she's like, "Who's touched it?" No.
I get the impression that she is aware it has moved slightly.
It was me. It slipped over. It was quite wet. I'm just gonna keep going when we work.
Everyone else, as the three of you continue, as Lottie, Edlynnne, and Jules continue kind of putting this together, anything from Subil or Jack, as we know what Cecily is doing?
I will ask. I've got a feeling that Subil may have met Lottie before, but
Oh yeah, it's impossible to not immediately recognize her.
She's the one who shot me.
well, she is wearing a mask. I'm thinking, would I
It's
recognize her?
just wearing
The mask is the same one that
It's the same
she's
one.
wearing exactly the same clothes. She's literally put them back on after getting back into the ship. So she's still got that kind of military garb on, heavy leather hood kind of covering most of her features, and that same iron mask covering all but her very blue striking eyes.
Right.
Yeah, she looks like a veteran, if not. You place her even through kind of the heavy burns. maybe in her early 20s, if not slightly younger.
Has she recognized me? Or does she know who I am?
You're not sure.
Not sure. I think
if she has, she hasn't made any kind of notion of it.
Yeah. I'm going to keep quiet for the minute. It's not the time. Yeah.
It's not my time.
It's not the time.
Yeah.
Anything else then?
I think Sybil's just going to be thinking about what the next step is, especially coming back into port.
Understandable. Okay, in that case, anything from Jack?
No, he's out of it. He's out of it. He's not with it.
Absolutely fair. You, at that point, continue along. Cecily, you do have the opportunity to try and treat his broken arm whilst you're there.
Yeah, I'll probably try. It was properly snapped, wasn't it? From what?
Yeah, that bone protruding from the arm, bad.
Well, he's
I feel like that's
conscious.
You have also
I'm going to try and reset.
You've also noticed he's starting to stir.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to try and get that arm. It's very difficult to do it on an arm that's already not broken, but just put it back into place and splint it. I'm assuming like the arteries were severed in his other arm, and I've sort of done. So this is probably his most minor injury, but if I can get it put into place before he's awake, that's going to save him a lot of discomfort. So yeah, I think I'm going to go do that.
It's only going to be difficulty 2, but it will still have a complication range of 17.
Okay.
And obviously, you don't have anyone to help you at this moment.
In which case, can I buy one more dice, pretty please?
You can buy more than one if you want.
I think
we got 6 momentum.
The complication range is still quite high. You don't want that, do you?
Yeah.
No.
Shall I get 2 dice?
I mean,
I'll get 2 dice. I've been rolling with 4 for the whole thing, so. Is that okay?
Yeah, I was just numbers.
Okay.
Numbers are hard.
Numbers
so are
are
letters.
Hard. Okay.
Braining is hard.
I've got my 4 dice. Let's see what we get. Oh, I thought I rolled a 1. It was a 7. Damn.
Not a 17, though.
No. 6. Sorry. Okay, that's fine. Sorry, I'm going to move my light. I got 1 complication and 3 successes.
You fix the arm, or more precisely, you reset everything. And just as you kind of start pushing everything back into place to the best of your ability, it takes you a second to notice a nerve bundle get stuck in between the bones.
Oh.
You're kind of at the point where you've already started to set it, however, which puts additional pressure down on them. You will leave Kurt with a permanent scar in the realms of nerve damage in his left arm.
But he's still alive.
He is still alive. However, as you kind of click that into place, in a start of agony, as you put direct pressure on his nerves, he snaps awake. Cool. The first anyone is aware is his scream.
Get something in his mouth.
He just bellows out in anger, not in anger, not in curse, just screams a shrill shriek of pain.
That's cool. I'm gonna just maybe grab some unused bandages and just like just to keep him quiet. Just go, please.
Give him a gag.
Sorry, but we need to be quiet.
You grab just a bundle of bandages nearby and just ram them in his mouth as quickly as physically possible. The scream's already left enough that it's alerted everyone on your ship at the very least. You see his eyes wild and wide, tears building up around the periphery as he just kind of snaps his eyes around, looks up at you and tries to move.
Yeah, I'm just like, nope, stay still. You have got some serious injuries. I just need you just to lie down, be calm, be still. Slow breaths. I'm going to take the bandages out of your mouth now, but
I need you to make me a will persuasion check, please.
Can I please use reassuring, which is under my special rules?
Yes.
Thank you. Do I still need to make the check, or is that sufficient?
Remind me exactly what it does.
Reassuring. Your bedside manner is immaculate and your patient's fears dissipate when you're around.
Does it do anything after that?
No, well, it says when attempting to treat a patient's mental injuries, I can spend 2 momentum in order to treat an additional mental injury.
Okay, we'll take it as a truth then, in which case. So I will say you're still going to need to roll a check, but what I was going to say is difficulty 2 will now just be difficulty 1.
Okay, cool. What was it again?
It'll be will persuasion.
Well,
he, as I said, he snaps up. You can see him, a muffled...
Yeah, that's fine. I have
tries
7...
to twist. You hear the bone in his left arm crack again.
Yeah.
Oh.
There is a sudden kind of warmth as you're holding your hand on his stomach as you feel the stitches move and blood just gush out of the wound. Roll your test.
Okay, well, I have no persuasion, so I've only got will, which is 7.
Ooh, there is 3 momentum.
Ooh, good luck.
There is no additional complication range on this. It is normal 20s.
Normal 20s. Okay.
There's 3 momentum, so,
How many
go
dice?
forward.
Oh, well, that one rolled a 5, so I'm just going to keep that. Success.
I like your plan.
Oops, I dropped a dice. It's a nat 1. I dropped it on the table. It's okay.
I mean, I can switch to my other camera and show you if you don't.
No, it's fine. We live on the honor system.
Okay. In which case, I'm not going to buy any dice and just hope that this one, that's been very good to me all evening, is going to stay good. It is not. I have 1 success. Can I call Eli down to help?
All you needed was 1.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, yeah. Yay!
So, saying exactly what you just said, you kind of just tried to steady him. He still twists, and at that point, you see the look of agony on his face intensify as he continues just to through the wound.
I just need you to stay still. We can get you pain relief as soon as we've made doc, but if you keep moving, your arm won't set, you're going to rupture your stitches. I just need you to calm down as much as you can. I know it hurts. It's going to hurt, but I need you to be as still as possible. Do you want to squeeze my hand?
You put your hand near his and he just grips it and white knuckles it to the point where you feel your own fingers just compressing under the force. And as he's kind of there, he just kind of tries to just push the bandages out of his mouth.
That's cool. I will take them out of his mouth. I'm assuming he's now listened to me and he'll be a bit quieter.
He's grimacing heavily. You can see tears still rushing down his face. The coloration of his face going this deep red. And he just hisses. Did everyone make it off?
Yes, we did. We're close to Southset now. We're making our way back. We're going to stretcher you off, which, again, will be painful. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but we're all here.
Keep going. Just warehouse district. Look for a red dog.
Red dog. Okay, got it.
The boys will know where to take you, so Lottie.
Grand. We're not far off now, but we'll get you stretchered, we'll get you in, and then we'll try and get you some proper treatment.
he just kind of twists his head down as best he can, and you can just see the very much just trying to maintain some semblance of sanity through the pain.
I might poke my head up and still alert Eli and Max that he's now awake, just in case they have anything they might want to say to him.
Before you've even got near the door, the trapdoor has already swung open, and Eli's moved down. Kind of taking the stairs two at a time, swings over. Kind of just checking over Kurt. You nearly had him, boss. You really nearly had him. I swear to God. Like, yeah, whatever you say. Like, just look after him. All right. And Eli just nods, glances up at you, Cecily. Thank you.
Well, yeah, fine. All in a day's work.
More than we could have done. And he just kind of, you can see him just gripping Kurt on the shoulder, who even at this point, he's taking kind of the most heavily bandaged right arm, and wincing through the pain, has just kind of reached up and put his hand on Eli's hand. Above deck, if I can get Edlynnne and Jules to make me another reason or coordination check. I won't say engineering, because I know you're not
just
there.
One or two?
Just the one, as Lottie will be leading the test.
It's fine, exactly. So that's one pass.
Yeah, one pass for me as well.
Fantastic. At that point then, I should just roll the normal dice, and there you are. You finish up a rough stretcher. It will do the job. It's not going to be comfortable by any stretch of the stretch of the imagination. Yeah. But it'll work. And as you kind of finish up and kind of take your work in for a second is when you hear the scream from downstairs. At this point, Max is actually starting to move you towards the docks that you're aiming for. But you hear the scream. You glance over and you see Eli already leaping up from his chair, swinging the trapdoor open and moving in. Over to you guys.
Guess that means Cecily might have done something. At least he's awake.
Did something.
I would like to grab a load of rope and ready themselves for docking as soon as, and make it as efficient as possible. That includes like any plankways or anything like that.
Easily done. All of that seems to be gathered up kind of midship anyway.
Cool.
So you just grab hold of that and keep an eye out.
And I'm guessing I'll work with Max with doing knots and whatever. Cool.
Yeah, easily done. You're kind of just coming along the smoother waters now. You can see people on the docks. It's very, very sparse for understandable reasons. It's incredibly late at night. The gas lights have been turned off along the streets. And the most you can see of people moving through are just slightly off. You can see two men having an argument with a protectorate. Not anything heated, mostly is the fact one of them is walking with his trousers around his ankles in circles as his friend is chasing him, and the protector is just shouting at them. But other than that, it seems quite quiet as you kind of come in towards the docks, and most importantly, there is no one waiting on the one you are aiming for.
Cool.
Yay!
Between you and Max, you kind of get your rope ready. It'll be a really, really straightforward process once you hit it, which will be about next set of actions.
Cool.
Anything from anyone else?
I think Subil is going to keep a real eye out for any kind of Inquisition presence on the dock, looking for guards, looking for lookouts, looking for ships docked, looking for literally any sign that the Inquisition might have, well, probably did expect us to possibly escape and might have left some sort of guard on the dock. Just keeping an eye for anything like that.
Do me an insight observation check of, we're gonna say 3. Normally it would only be 2, but because of the low light levels, it's hard to make out who anyone really is.
Would instinct help at all?
Yeah, I'll instinct to work here, yeah.
Wonderful. Let's go with that. Is there anyone near me?
Yeah, I was going to say, would I technically be in the vicinity to help?
Because you're kind
If
of helping
I'm-
ready the ship. At the
Oh, right, then
moment,
that's
what you're
fine.
doing is basically making it so no one actually has to roll anything to dock you.
Got it.
Okay. If no one's about, then I guess I'll give it a go. How much momentum have we got? We've got any left? 3.
3.
I have. Yeah, I'll take a momentum. That's okay.
Mhm.
Let's give this a go. Oh, that's a crit and a failure.
Okay.
Not a complication, but a crit and a failure, so 2 successes, and then one more to roll.
Last dice. Last dice.
That's a pass. Oh my god!
Hey, wonderful. You spend a bit of time just kind of resting on the edge of the ship, just watching people. Your paranoia at absolute max. As you see a couple, as you kind of pass by, there's a small carriage making its way down with the gas lights still lit. You watch them carefully as they just turn off, heading up another street, and you can just see essentially a transport company logo on their back. You see more people lurking on the docks, including a couple of Protectorate. You've noticed the same scene that Subil did with, unfortunately, the man whose trousers were around his ankles is now fallen over and is being dragged out of the muck by the Protectorate and being told to go the fuck home. Glancing further down, you do see that on one of the kind of further corners near one of the bridges, there are lights of 2 people in uniform, just immediately notable by the color of it, but they're in Protectorate uniform, just kind of watching the bridges. But you don't see hide nor hair of the Inquisition.
Seems weird to me. I guess I'll turn back and just say to everyone, so I can't see any of the Inquisition about, but I don't know why they'd all leave. I feel like something's off here, so keep an eye out, everyone. Yeah? And I'll turn back and keep looking until we dock. Past when we dock, but even until we dock, I'm going to be paranoid more than ever.
Yeah, absolutely fine. Anything from Jack or Edlynnne?
I was going to say, get the stretcher over to the door, so when we dock, I can help get Kurt onto the stretcher and help carry him off.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting the stretcher really ready and in position.
Easily done. Jack?
Sort of running on autopilot, get one of those big waterproof coats over the Inquisitor robe and not say a word.
You just fling the coat over and just everything underneath just kind of disappears under the greatcoat. And you just kind of wait. A few moments pass, a couple of minutes, and slowly but surely the ship slows to a halt and just starts to be carried by the kind of ebb and flow of the water at the port. As you kind of close in between Jules and Max, you fling the ropes over onto the walkways, kind of moor yourself and slowly start pulling the ship in. Clacks again, they just kind of, you feel the wood of the vessel crack against the edge of the dock. And you're there. Everything seems to be stable. The cool night air still kind of settles around you. The moonlight illuminates just the fullness of the dock. You're one in about 15 ships, varying sizes on this dock. You're on the wrong side of the bridge, unfortunately. You will need to cross the bridge to get to the warehouse district.
Roughly how far is it from where we are to our destination? Because we need to obviously carry Kurt through on the stretcher.
Quite a distance. A couple thousand meters. It's going to take you a while. Or you could go to another dock. You technically have the Dawn docks are closer to your location, but you don't have a landing strip for that. Or, yeah, docking site, more precisely. So you would be running the numbers a little bit more on that. It's up to you.
We need to find a place where we can dock that is close enough to some alleys or streets that we can disappear.
No one will know. No one will know we stole this, so we might as well just park up as close as possible.
Moor it up.
Could someone stay with the? Could someone take the boat back and walk back?
Max can always run the boat back, because if he's crossing the bridge by himself, I doubt he'll get asked any questions.
Yeah.
If he's just like
You're muted again, Ben.
Sorry, Max. I assume at this point you're going to be having these conversations as a group.
Yeah.
So we'll go it by this point then that Lottie and Eli have made their way below decks and taken over for you, Cecily, just kind of checking the carrot over and talking. This is when you bring yourself up and you realise roughly where you are, which, as I said, is kind of right on the southern edge of town at the Dusk Docks. To get to the warehouse district, you're going to need to cut through Old Town, over the bridges, past Chapel Market, and then into the warehouse district, when you're going by the assumption of, or going just off of the idea of, look for a red dog. Unless, of course, you bring Eli or Max with you, theoretically Lottie, and they might know more directly.
Sorry, I'm just getting the map up now.
Right.
I think we need to go to Dawn Docks.
Yeah, I think we need to go to Dawn Docks. I mean, on the map, it does look like there are jetties there that we could put up next to.
But we won't have our name on it.
No, that's true. But I guess if we're just landing,
anyway.
I mean, it's 2 in the morning. They're not going to be,
Yeah,
going
we can
in
just
and out
put
fishing.
the boat back if we need to.
I vote pull up, offload, send Max back with the boat to park it up, and then ask him if he'll make his own way across town. We've got Eli and Lottie; they know what we're looking out for.
Max just kind of nods. He's more than happy to double back. That's no trouble. He's happy if you're happy.
Yeah.
That's all right? Okay.
At which point then you kind of unmoor and just float back out into the water again. As you kind of just pull back out into the open waters of the port, more and more of the city just starts to kind of close down and quieten, till the point where, as you start making your way up past the canal that splits South Periton in two, you become very aware that you're one of the very few ships on the water at this point. We're also going to spend a couple of points of chaos. As you start making your way towards the Dawn Docks, there are more gas lights on there than there were at the dusk. You can see, of the kind of 5 jetties that you come to immediately, 4 of them are lit. You can see 2 larger vessels have landed. Probably you don't remember seeing them as you were making your way through the town earlier, so you assume they've arrived sometime in the most recent hours. And you can see people moving up and down it, unloading cargo into a set of carriages that are waiting. It'll be harder to avoid notice docking here.
We can claim to be fishermen at least.
Yeah.
Right? We're all dressed as fishermen on a fisher's boat. We have documents in hand. We can say we were out for an early catch. And
how do we explain Kurt being injured? Just say the what he got.
Well, we
they're not going to
bum him up with morphine, and then we put him over a sheet over him, and we just say it's our fish.
Do the guards often search fisher boats when they come in?
Why would they?
This is what I mean.
The fishing town. Like, if they searched every single
town,
boat.
why would they?
The only issue I can foresee is that if some of the local guards know some of the local fishermen, and we arrive with documents or a boat that they recognise not to be ours.
Well, we're gonna have that anyway with the last place we're at, because we're gonna use it to park there. And if we're not looking like who we say we are, then
It's fair.
and we're already gonna move the boat anyway.
And besides, this causes us suspicion, and carrying Kurt's body for the whole town.
Yeah, I say we stick here.
Stick here.
Don't
if we encounter trouble, talk our way through it.
Agreed.
If not, then I have a lot of anger I need to take out on people. So
That sounds like a great backup plan, but let's keep that in our back pocket for now.
Yeah, that's like worst case scenario, but it's not so.
You start to approach the Dawn docks then. Max makes the decision to aim for the quieter one, which will unfortunately put you on the furthest dock away. So it's still going to keep you moving a little bit more of a distance, but it keeps you out of the direct limelight.
Yeah, because we can go through. No.
Mm-hmm. He's going to do it. He's going to need to do a coordination vehicles check.
With help from me.
Easily, if you have it.
Well, coordination at least.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, one pass.
So you got a pass and a complication.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm good at coordination vehicles. Sorry.
Oh.
Can we give you 2 chaos to veto that complication, or is that because?
I'm happy for that.
Yeah.
I'll make that cool then.
I was fully envisioning Captain Jack Sparrow.
We're just coming in and then sticking out that 1 foot.
Yeah. I mean, he successfully paused to
He does.
It was a bit complicated.
That is the definition of that. Success with complications.
You start to ride towards the southernmost dock and close in. As you do, you feel the ship just knocked to the side slightly. Max mutters something incoherent and just pokes his head over the side. As you'll see a couple of barrels just float past you.
Right, who's trying the tea out, honestly?
The tea.
They're at it again.
Not the Boston tea.
It just floats past you. Fortunately, at a distance enough to not cause you any problems. A few moments later, maneuvers past the worst of the debris. From what you can see, it looks like there's a small ship that has been unmoored and is just bobbing out following the current. And just you're seeing bits and pieces of it just fall over the edge as the ship just rocks uncontrollably. Maneuvering around that to the best of his ability, Max steals the spot on the dock, bringing you in closer to the point where, Jules, you're able to just hock the rope over the edge and just start to moor yourselves. It's a bit tougher this time, just because the space is actually slightly smaller than you need. There are 2 ships. There are 2 other ships knocking from side to side. But you manage it. Sliding in between the 2. The ship does grind into place before just tapping the edge of the dock and holding there, floating slowly.
Like a glove.
At that point, you're free to disembark. Who and how are you moving Kurt?
I'm going to need some strong people.
I'm strong.
Definitely not me.
Not me.
I'm a little bit strong. I don't mind.
I was built for being strong, apparently, so let's do it.
Cool.
I'm happy to lead ahead in case there is anyone about to try and either distract them or outtalk them. If that helps.
Cool.
Up to you.
So Edlynnne and I are gonna lift Kurt up.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing we're putting morphine in this guy if we're moving him.
There was only oh no, we spent a void point to get a full med kit, didn't we? Yeah. Whatever's in there, well, not all of it, but I'll shove a decent amount in.
That's fine.
All of the morphine. Go to
Don't worry.
Just to OD him.
Yeah. I'll give
You
him
die the
enough
way
just to
I
make him pleasantly unaware of any pain.
It's a bit leafy.
You bring him up onto the top deck, at which point you give him the morphine and you just slowly his consciousness starts to fade. As he does, you lift him up and he kind of glances just past him, looking at Edlynnne as you lift from the back to the point where you're kind of just leaning above him. His head vision, you can see his eyes are just barely kind of grasping what's in front of him. And you might actually stand a chance at the moment. As
Eddie drops the stretcher. No, I'm done.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not working under these circumstances.
No, I'm going to...
He says it with a very slow, pained wink. At which point the morphine just takes hold of him. Yeah.
I'm going to keep a hold of it, but everyone can just see the fucking look of, I swear to fucking God.
Hang on, as far as he's concerned, he's seen a ghost.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is.
Seriously.
He never saw her corpse.
No, true. He was just told.
Oh, yeah, shit. True that.
So, yeah, no, there's going to be the whole look of going, fucking worth it.
The most he can see is the ghost of ass-kicking's past.
Thing is, even with all the eyeing, I still lose.
At which point you start to just move off the ship as a group. The five of you, as well as Lottie and Eli. The moment you kind of get off the vessel, Max starts to pull away and start heading back towards the Dusk Docks, leaving you as a group kind of stood there, slowly kind of waiting. As Subil, you kind of went first. You're kind of just making your way down the docks a little bit, where you can see someone meandering down in your direction, kind of rocking from side to side, a bottle loose in his hands, just kind of quietly humming to himself. As he kind of glances up, he sees you, kind of ignores you, passes his eyes past, looks at the space where he expected his ship to be, and his eyes just widen. Oh, fuck! Starts taking steps forward as rapidly as possible. He gets 1, 2, stops, pulls back, holds his lunch, and just keeps going past again. Gets to the point where he's a couple of feet away from you. It's quite a narrow dock, to the point that's really only wide enough for one of you. Out of the way!
Where do I go?
Push me in the water.
I don't want to.
You kind of get the point of closing. He's closing. He's right in front of you. He's trying to go through.
I'd like to come up behind. I'd like to come up behind Subil at this point and just knock his ass out.
Why?
That's last resort thing, dude.
I'm just gonna knock his ass out. I can't be fucked. Jack is not in the mood.
Brawn, I believe. Did you say might takes right? Might makes right? Yeah.
I do have that. Yeah.
Yeah. Make me a brawn athletics.
Can you just
check.
trip him over or something?
It's difficulty 0. He's not expecting it. He definitely can't defend himself.
Push him in the water.
Yeah, no, that's too.
Can't push a drunk man in the water. He might drown. At least if you knock him out, he's just
punching this guy square in the face.
Roll damage.
Oh, please don't knock his head clean off or something.
I swear to
just
God.
render him unconscious.
Wait, that's 3 dice, isn't it? Because that's.
As we leave him, can I budge
3 points of
Cecily to put him in the safety position?
Yeah, we'll put him in, just roll him onto his side.
As he stumbles towards Subil, Subil not really knowing what to do, you literally have to push Subil out the way. To the point where you have him balancing on the edge of the dock. There are no walls here. It is dock and there is water.
Subil behind me, whack. And...
You walk up, crack him in the jaw. You watch his body just kind of
crumble,
stiffen for a moment. as if he's had enough to drink that his body has registered the injury, his mind hasn't. It kind of twists back to look at you.
And I would like to spend...
slumps to the side.
And with that 2 momentum I generated, I'd like to catch him before he falls off the dock, place him on, take the bottle, and just start drinking.
Yeah, that would be 2 momentum.
I mean, I just generated it, so yeah, I'll spend that.
You grab the back of his coat before he kind of hits the water. You see a few bits of paper, a coin purse just sort of fall out of his coat directly into the water. But
that's not what I want.
Instinctively, it looks like he cares more about the bottle in his hand than anything else on his person. You pull him back up quite easily and just remove the bottle. And then I imagine you just kind of drop him again.
Yeah.
Not in the water, you place
Not in the
down.
water.
Flashes back in.
No, I'll just let him fall on the deck, and that's my bottle now. I don't care what it is. He
slumps back down. It's an open bottle. There was probably a cork in there some point. This kind of brown glass. It's about yay deep. Imagine quite literally a Coke bottle.
Okay.
Go back on the floor now. Half full. You kind of sniff it, and you feel several hairs in your nose burn, and you just take a glug.
Yeah.
It's some abomination of whiskey and rum spiked with something else. You're not entirely sure. It burns like a motherfucker, though.
Good.
If it had a flavor, you would describe it as regret.
Regret flavor, that goes really well with
That's like the best flavor, isn't it?
regret
a very familiar flavor.
At which point you just kind of step over him.
Yeah, keep moving.
And continue down the docks. The rest of you will about 5 to 10 feet behind him and just watch that.
You know what? I see what the Inquisition means now. I see what they mean. Anyone else? No.
No, I get it.
Yeah, I get it.
And then, as Jules suggests, I'm gonna pop him in the recovery position as we go past.
You kind of lean down, just check him over as you start gingerly making your way around. He's kind of in the way for those of you carrying Kurt. You're having to very awkwardly step over him to just make your way further down the dock. So you lean down, just put him back into position and kind of pick yourself up and start walking away. At which point, each of you pass off of the docks and back into the streets of Southhurt, into the dead of night and quiet of the city asleep. You're not entirely sure where you're going, but you are guided by both Eli and Lottie, who kind of bring you through the Dawn docks and just cut around Chapel Market straight into the warehouse district. You're walking for about 40, 50 minutes or so before you're slowly brought down an alleyway into a small opening where you can see a large, kind of slightly disheveled looking warehouse. And just next to it is a smaller one, several windows already smashed in with rocks, and just kind of painted on the side in a very, very faded image of Red Hound Warehouse. You make your way there. Eli kind of takes a key out from his pocket, unlocks a large padlock holding the worst of the majority of the door open, and you just filter your way inside. This feeling of warmth that's been kind of slowly coming to greet you ever since you stepped foot back on dry land. Just filling you. It's odd. It's a warmth you don't feel you've felt in a few months. You're ushered through the door, and anxious eyes watching the paths you've gone down, Lottie just carefully closes it behind you as you step in and disappear off the streets. Back at the dock, a man, groggily, very groggily, starts to pick himself up, checking his mouth for the teeth he's now missing. He kind of stands, glances around, his vision a blur at best. Takes a couple of steps back, checks his pockets, realizes his hand is empty. I took my booze. My ship. Stumbles down, takes a few steps up to the edge, and just sees floating just ever so just out of reach away as another ship makes its way towards the southern docks. He sees his vessel, the Bad Decisions, floating there, half of its stock just kind of unmoored and rolling off the edge as he watches an entire crate of recently caught trout just splash back into the water. And he just kind of stands there staring at it. Sits down on the edge of the dock and just places his feet over it, just kind of brimming along the kind of quite shallow water that hangs there. Takes his shoes off and just places them next to him. Kind of breathes in deep in the cool air. One day, Derek. One day things are going to work out. Might not be tonight. Tomorrow, though. Tomorrow's and that's when a hand springs up out of the water, grabs him by the face, and pulls him under.
No.
Well, shit.
Which is where we will end for this week.
I guess I should write off Derek and the Bad Decisions.
Yeah.
I was going to say, someone's just written
Derek
notes
is,
and
yeah,
just
I was just like,
scribbled
I've
Doesn't
just
make
written that
sense.
note and I'm like, well, it doesn't matter anymore. He's dead.
Oh, I like Derek.
I feel very sorry for Derek.
Partially
Derek.
responsible, really. Yeah. But
He was going to be there anyway.
Well, that was yet another episode of Chalice Twilight Roads, as we successfully see the party manage to hide themselves back into the city. To quickly run through XP for everyone, you're all going to get one just for playing.
Yay!
As always,
Participation award.
I feel special.
I'm going to go ahead and give a couple of bonus XP to Cecily.
I can.
managing
I have
to-
10. Oh, I have 12 now. I can level up a thing.
It's only on our downtime, though, isn't it?
Correct.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's fine. When the time comes around.
When you next never get downtime.
Yeah.
For your masterful saving of Kurt. Well done.
Thank you.
I'm also going to hand out a couple of bonus character XP. We're going to give one to Jack. Another one to Subil for attempting to comfort him and trying to overwhelm his kind of innate hatred of touching people. And then, unfortunately, that'll be that for there. And finally, I do need a vote.
Unfortunately, I'm
from
done
everyone.
being nice.
Yeah. I'm going by big character arc.
I have nothing big character arc to give to Edlynnne, so I have.
Right now.
Right
on
now.
Better
the
get cooking.
specific instance of traveling back on the ship.
Yeah, there was
that's
nothing I
what
could-
I was going by.
Yeah, no, there's nothing I could have done for Edlynnne at that moment. I will get my hero points back one day, though.
But I will ask for everyone's vote on Hero of the Night. We will start. Lynn, who would you vote?
I want to say Subil for trying to overcome that fear to try and comfort Jack when Jack was having his little breakdown.
Mhm.
I would,
Okay.
yeah.
Wonderful. Jago?
Lynn, for obvious reasons.
Oh, sorry. I thought you just wanted my attention. Yes.
Billy?
Oh, Lynn. For obvious reasons.
Max?
Lynn.
Oh.
For obvious reasons.
I feel like Max doesn't
he's
know the
still
obvious
not-
reasons.
yeah.
He's just nodding along.
The obvious reasons?
Yes, I've heard of them.
Yeah.
I know these reasons.
And Holly, as much as the vote has been cast at this point,
Obvious reasons. Great
it's
guy.
always worth asking.
Well,
I love him.
I mean, it's fine because I was also going to go Lynn for obvious
Aw.
reasons.
Yeah.
In which case-
I'm pretty sure the cast was set the second it happened. So like,
Yeah, it was
That's surprised I got
done.
one.
It was
In
a
which
fucking
case-
wrap up.
In which case, Cecily, you gain an additional 5 XP.
Yay!
I'm 3
And-
away from another thing.
Yeah.
do you want to lend me like 8 so I can level up?
We'll also, because I did double checking my maths, I did spend 3 or more chaos that session, so you'll gain an additional XP each. But at that point, we are
2.
done and dusted. So once again, I have been Ben. You can find me anywhere and everywhere at Try Again Ben. To run through everyone else, Lynn, who are you? Where can we find you?
Hello, I am Lynn. I'm also known as Pontouf or Pantoufles Art. I'm Pantoufles Art on Twitter and on TikTok, and then also on Facebook, and then on Instagram, and the other one. What's the other one? Twitter. I'm just Pontouf or
It's that point of the
Pantouf.
night.
However, it's impossible to pronounce, but I am stuck with it now forever. But yeah, I've been in chat, so if you want to see fun art, that's what I do. I do the art. Yeah, that's me.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Holly?
Hi, I'm Holly. You can find me on Instagram at Holly Ida Healey, and I have to check my Twitter because I thought it was one name, but it's actually the other. You can find me on Twitter at Holly Healey7. I claim to do music. Bold where there is claim.
There is
Your-
fame.
It's claim and fame. You hear my work every week without knowing because I subconsciously put it into your brains because I'm magic.
Goddamn.
I mean, I did the intro stuff. That's not the kind of I'm slowly working on other stuff and other music for the stream. So if you want to see how that's doing, give me a follow on Twitter and Instagram, and you might be able to see some stuff that I potentially will do when I'm in the right mental state to do it because life is hard.
It's fair. Max, you're next on my list.
Hi, I'm Max Yallop. You'll find me here every week, and my Instagram is YallopMax. Easy.
It works. It's perfect. It couldn't be more down the line. Billy?
Hi, I'm Billy. You can find me here, usually, probably next week, trapped in this little box. I'm not really anywhere else on the internet. I say it every week. I'm slowly working on some world building projects. So if you like world building, come back next week and see if I've actually done anything on it. But in the meantime, I'd say the biggest takeaway from this session is definitely rest in peace, Derek.
Some peace, Derek.
Really gonna miss him.
He was a standout character.
He had a big impact, you know.
Will be missed.
Still a better love story than Twilight.
It's a better love story than Twilight.
How
And
dare
taking from
you.
someone who's read the Twilight books a lot in her, like when she had no friends about a year ago. So
Okay.
Who's
Hi.
who's next? Let's check it.
That's Jago.
Jago. Oh. I heard that, Lynn.
I'm sorry, Jago.
Oh.
I love you, really. Think of dice.
Oh. Hi, I'm Jago. I am the resident verbal punching bag. Come out next week to see if my spirit has broken yet.
I specifically picked on everyone.
it just didn't affect us the way it affected Jago. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a difference.
Once again, big old thank you to Session Zero Clothing, Norse Foundry, Umbral Oculus Dice, and Mithril Armory for sponsoring us, and of course for the Initiative Order for putting up with us.
Yes.
Especially
So-
Danny.
Especially Danny.
Thank you, Danny.
But not
Thanks,
James,
Danny.
whoever that is.
So thank you very much, everyone, and we will see you the same time, same place next week. Cheerio.